Peace everyone, Unmasked Art here, and welcome to day 28 of Inktober. We've only got 3 more days left. Cannot believe it's gone by so quickly, surprisingly smoothly. I've been enjoying all of the lovely drawings that you guys have been sending in and posting over in the Unmasked Family Facebook group, so I'm going to start by sharing those drawings right now. Yesterday's prompt was thunder. I drew Thor's hammer because I was late getting home from grocery shopping and I have a lot of time to do something I really wanted to do. So I did something rather simple, but the stream was fun. Regardless, it's always fun. I love hanging out with you guys. And as usual, I have some cider here, some pear cider. So today's prompt is gift, and last year we created, well, technically I created Nugget. So technically this is Nugget's birthday, and I thought it would be fun to do a bunch of presents with little Nugget sitting on top, being Nugget. Real quick, let me say hello to everyone in the chat. I see a whole bunch of you here. Sonia, Zanab, Barbara, Tatiana, Joy, Catrice, Denisa, who else? Yannick. Hello. I believe you are from Russia, but I cannot pronounce your name, unfortunately. Hildy, Sneaks, Diane. I Mike Master. Hello. I believe you are new to the stream, so welcome. Lily and Christy. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me on this lovely Sunday. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I had a fantastic weekend. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun today too. Went and played some Magic the Gathering this morning with a bunch of friends, and it was super fun. Definitely some interesting games, and just had a blast. So I'm going to start inking this drawing here. I'm going to start with a 0.3 millimeter, being a little, that might be a little thick, but I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with the thicker ink pen here, and I'm just going to do the base, kind of the preliminary inking, and then I will switch to some markers after, and we will color everything. So I don't know how long today's stream will be. If I'm coloring, it's usually about maybe an hour and 20 minutes, I'd say, just depending on how focused I can stay while carrying on a conversation with you lovely people. Please let me know in the chat if you have any questions. I do not ever get enough questions, so please do not slack on me today. And if you have any ideas for today's prompt, if you haven't started, or if you have started, let me know what you're drawing, what you're up to, and we can just chat about anything you guys want to. If you're new to the streams, thank you for coming by and hanging out. I hope that you enjoy it and subscribe to see more. We've only got a few more days of Inktober. It's starting to wind down. I know that you guys are getting tired. It's so many drawings, so much work doing a drawing every day, but I hope that you feel like it's been worth it. You know, I hope that you've gotten into a good routine. You've got comfortable drawing every day. I've gotten pretty comfortable. I can throw together an idea rather quickly now. I feel like I'm even better than I was last year. So it's definitely come a long way for me, and I hope that you guys had a fantastic time hanging out with me this year for Inktober. I will, of course, continue live streaming after Inktober is over, but they won't be every day. I would like to have a life, if that's okay with you guys. I would really, really enjoy having at least the resemblance of a life, or pretend that I have one. At this point, it's even hard to pretend. So busy with Inktober and the daily live streams. Oh, thank you, Barbara, for wishing Nugget a happy birthday. As you can see, he's excited as always. Nugget, super excited. It's his birthday. He's 1 going on 60. Oh, hey Mache, I haven't heard from you in a while. How many players were at the showdown? Quite a few. I think there was 10 or 11. I'm not sure if we were odd today. But I know there was at least 10. There was at least 10. It was a lot of fun. We had 4 rounds. And definitely a good diversity of decks. So I hope to see you there. You should come to F&M if you have a chance this coming Friday. F&Ms have been good as well. Yeah, it'd be nice to see you. Oh, hello, Jelena. Good to see you as well. And Eric the King. Hello, hello. And Louison? I hope I pronounced that right. Your 7-year-old wants to know why I named the snail Nugget. Well, just like many of the characters that we've kind of created this year for Inktober, Nugget was a somewhat random, accidental creation, actually, from last year's Inktober. And I asked people what his name should be. And even though I decided what his name was, a lot of different names were thrown around for his name. And I was just sitting here drawing like I am now. And the name Nugget came into my head because I used to call my dogs Nugget. The Nuggets. I had a brother and sister, pair of Yorkies, super adorable, and I would always refer to them as the Nuggets, because if you know anything about Yorkies, you know that they're tiny little yippy little dogs, and that's what I always called them. I would just call them the Nuggets. And the older brother, Maverick, I always used to joke about Maverick because he was a super buff Yorkie. Like, he was a super strong. His muscles were twice the size of any other Yorkie I'd ever seen, and he was quite large for a Yorkie. He was 11 pounds, and that's big for a Yorkie. And so Nugget kind of took on how I felt Maverick's personality was, because Maverick, he was a sweetheart, for sure. He loved cuddling up to you, but he always just seemed so sad and kind of apathetic and just emotionally distant, and that is why Nugget usually has this is Nugget's normal facial expression. So Nugget kind of took on the personality of one of my Nuggets, one of my Yorkies, and when I thought of naming him Nugget, I knew that was the name I had to call him. And so the discussion of what his name should be that started last year swiftly ended as soon as I thought of the name Nugget. And that is how and why his name is Nugget. I find it easy to make a drawing every day, but extremely hard to be conscious about it and to draw something in relation to a theme. That was new to me. Yeah, doing the prompts and not really having full autonomy to your drawings definitely adds a new realm of challenge to the process of creating, and that's something that I think is beneficial when you deal with commissions, because if you ever want to be a commissioned artist, you don't always have the freedom to do whatever you want. You're kind of at the whim of the client, and so getting used to drawing things that you wouldn't normally think of, that can kind of set you up for success in the realm of creating for a client. I don't tend to do very many commissions because I don't enjoy them nearly as much as just creating my own things. But every once in a while, I'll take on a commission if they pay me enough. Because the price I charge for a commission is essentially the price that motivates me enough to do something I don't want to do. It's usually what my commission price is. And it gets more and more every year. Because I just enjoy doing my own creations. Oh, hello Miriam. Do I like birds? They're not my favorite animal. Birds are not my favorite animal, but there are definitely some really lovely birds out there. I'm not a fan of birds inside my house. So as a pet, birds, I'm not too fond of the sounds that they tend to make when they're indoors. I'm not really that fond of the sounds they make when they're outdoors.
You don't want to be indoors,
Kohanya, would you calm down?
I need to say something.
You don't need to say anything, just... Oh, goodness.
Birds shouldn't be caged.
Calm down. Nobody's talking about caged birds.
Whatever. If it's in four walls, it's caged, okay?
You're crazy.
What? I'm going to say.
My lovely wife wants to join the live stream. She's trying to lay in bed and read a book quietly.
But you're disturbing me.
I'm not disturbing nobody.
Keep talking.
I'm talking because I'm live streaming.
I'm trying to read here.
Lily says hello.
Hello, people.
Say it louder. Say it with your chest. It's a joke. Calm down. I'm quoting Kevin Hart. Partially. It's a partial quote.
Not everyone got it.
I know not everyone got it. You didn't get it.
You don't think you're funny or something?
No, I don't think I'm funny.
Don't you need slugging?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you do.
I doubt it.
You are no.
Yep, Anna's getting all wound up again. Everybody's saying hello. Oh, my wife doesn't actually want to join the live stream. She's just being a bum in bed. I think she spent 90% of today in bed, somewhere upwards. Burly. Yeah, okay.
I'm trying to read, okay?
Whatever the excuse is. Hey,
I deserve it.
of course you deserve it. I'm not saying you don't deserve it. You work all week. I mean, I work a little bit, but...
But you never get up as early as I am.
No, I don't.
I mean, 6 something is not the other, but too early.
No, I'm not in trouble. My wife is reading Digital Fortress? No, Deception Point by Dan Brown. It's a book that we already read together, but she also read it in Polish, but she's reading it again this time in English.
I don't remember that much.
Yeah, she doesn't remember much of the book, and she wanted to read it over. We read it some time ago, a few months ago. We had just finished. We just finished the Da Vinci Code. Yeah. No, she's not reading the love language book, but I have read the love language book.
The what?
Love language book. The title of the book is Love Languages. It's a relationship communication book.
Oh my goodness, where's September?
No, it was actually a good book, and I still to this day utilize the things that I learned from the book. I mean, it just takes basic communication skills and translates it into relationship communication, and it's solid advice for communication. Another really good book on communication, because I've read several. One of my all-time favorite books on communication is called Verbal Judo, and it's written by a retired FBI agent. I think it's a retired FBI agent. I could be I could be wrong about that specific detail, but he goes around and he does lectures to law enforcement on how to use language to diffuse a situation. But obviously, I'm not in law enforcement or anything like that. But the skills that he teaches are communication skills that are universal. And I found the book extremely interesting and fun read. It's not very long. Forget who it's by, but it's called Verbal Judo. I've read a lot of really interesting books. I read a lot when I was in the military, and by a lot I mean literally bookshelves worth of books. I was actually a librarian in the Navy for a couple years, so even when I wasn't reading books, I was around a lot of them. Oh, hello, Alex. And Jeff. And Misty. And Debbie. If I missed you coming into the chat, I apologize, but I try to say hello to everyone. Sometimes I get lost in my drawing that I forget to look up at the chat. So, speaking of which, if you guys if you ask me any questions or anything like that, let me know. And if I missed it, feel free to ask again, because I'm not the best at catching every question the first time. Oh, hello, Danny. I'm glad that you made it. Thank you for making the time to come to the live stream. Very glad to have you. All right. Primary inking is now complete, so I'll give it a moment to dry before I go over it with my eraser to get rid of the graphite. Oh, Denisa, I apologize. See, if you tag me, in the chat, it's a lot easier for me to see the question. Sometimes it's hard for me to tell whether or not you guys are talking to each other or asking me a question. So it's really easy for me to miss. Not ignoring it at all, I can assure you. I apologize. Yes, the turtle's name is Cornelius. I thought that we already discussed that last week. I'm not sure. I honestly, I can't. It's hard to remember what day it was, but yeah. Oh, hello, Iris. Good to see you. Oh, Tamisu, you read Verbal Judo also. That's cool. I wasn't sure how popular that book was. It was just, I forget why I picked it up. I think it was like recommended to me, or I was reading one book and it talked about the book, and so I read the book because it was talked about in another book that I was reading. How many kneaded erasers do I use? This is just one kneaded eraser. Yeah, I just bought this one just before Inktober started. My previous kneaded eraser was like 1,000,000 years old, and it was still working perfectly fine, but I went to the art store. To pick up a few supplies for oil painting, and they have the kneaded eraser up the counter, like artist candy, and I was like, I'll just buy another eraser. Why not? Why are you staring at me, Goofy?
You're interesting to stare at.
Oh, I'm interesting to stare at. You're so weird.
It's that rotting thing.
Yeah, it is a fairly large eraser. Hold on a second. I need to blow my nose, but I refuse to do this on camera. All right, and I'm back.
It wasn't blowing, no.
I'll be quiet. All right.
Why is it?
I am going to now take a wider pen and outline this. I have to ask, will you be a bit relieved if when Inktober is over? I will be relieved. I was relieved last year. I will be relieved this year. Inktober is a lot of fun, and I really enjoy doing these daily streams, but 1 month of them is enough for me. Like, I don't know if I want to do another monthly challenge thingy where I stream every day. I was kind of considering it, talking about it throughout this Inktober, and I talked about it a little bit during last year's Inktober as well.
Pigs are showing.
What?
Somebody said it and I see it. The pictures are pictures.
What?
Playing.
Oh. Sorry.
You're always, what she wants, why she bothers me again. Try to be helpful.
I didn't know what you were talking about. Calm
You
down.
never know. You never know. You try to remember what you said a moment ago to people, because I didn't listen.
Yeah, Inktober is a pretty big commitment, and like I was saying before, I was interrupted by the picture slides. Calm down, I'm not talking about you. As soon as I said interrupted, my wife looked at me like I was about to call her out. I had talked about doing another monthly stream drawing challenge type of thing last year. It it never came to fruition. I talked about it a few times this year, doing another challenge. But goodness, once a year is kind of like my limit, I feel like. But maybe it will happen. Maybe it will happen, but I'll only do it like 5 days a week instead of 7 days a week, because 7 days a week takes away my weekends. And as much as I love hanging out with everybody every day, you know, I don't even hang out with my wife every day. And I think that might be a problem. Inktober is really draining too, and I think the biggest problem is that I still have a lot of like other work that I do aside from this, like taking care of other business related things like my website and trying to make the teaching experience over on Patreon a bit more interactive. I have students that I teach, that I do private lessons with, and when I do a stream every day, and I'm trying to balance those things as well, and not be short with them with the private lessons and stuff like that. I don't want the streaming to take away from what my other students, you know, they pay for. So I think 1 month out of the year is an acceptable rate of daily streaming. I don't know if I will add another month. It's the problem is that there's not like really any other month other than October that I feel I can just skip. I mean, I wouldn't want to do it January because my birthday is in January. New Year's is in January. I wouldn't want to do it February because my wife and I's anniversary is in February. I wouldn't want to. March is probably the month that. Is there anything in March? What's in March?
Oh, we could find some anniversary. Unofficial one?
I don't. Yeah. No, it's on. I don't know what's in March. I think March might be the only other month that I'd feel like. Yeah. I don't. Does anything happen in March? I can't think. Oh yeah, that's right. I couldn't. My sister came and visited in March last year, so daily streaming.
Yeah, this year.
Oh, whatever. Yes, my wife and I are coming up on 2 years of marriage. It's so crazy. Can't believe it's been 2 years already. Or it's going to be 2 years. It feels like I just made that video proposing to you. Alright, I think my ink is dry, so I think it's safe to... Of course I'm going to fill it with color. The Nugget is the normal color. Easter, I don't celebrate Easter. It's not a real holiday.
It's holiday because I know.
Do you think you'll open any more spots for private students on Patreon? I would love to increase the number of private students that I can take on, but I just don't think that it's viable for me time-wise right now. I really wish that I could, because I do enjoy the time that I spend with the students that I have currently, and they're progressing really well and they make wonderful artwork. I mean, maybe I don't want the day to come where they feel like they've kind of outgrown me technically, and like they know enough to just go on. Eventually, I think that they will, and that's what you'll probably end up having to wait for. Maybe if I could maybe open up one spot, but I probably won't do it this year. I need to get a little bit better at scheduling my like weekly projects. If you've ever noticed anything about my channel, is that it's kind of random. Like, I do the drawing journals on Monday usually, but then I would like go back and forth. Sometimes it was a drawing journal, sometimes it was a live pastel tutorial. And after Inktober, I'm going to be adding a stream to my week. So Mondays will be the drawing journal, probably Tuesdays or Wednesdays will be, most likely Wednesday. I would like to have a day in between to let me do other things and prep. So probably Monday drawing journal, Wednesday. No, it won't be Wednesday actually. It won't be Wednesday because, gosh, a whole bunch of stuff that I have to think of. But yeah, I mean, in regards to your question about opening up more spots, I hope to in the future, but I can't guarantee it anytime this year at least. I would say the earliest that a new spot will be available as far as taking on more students would be next year, like January next year, if I can get things situated. But also at the same time, like next year, there's so many variables. There's just so many variables. I can't make any promises. Next year, I want to move out of this flat and move into a house, and so my wife and I are going to be looking to do that. And I hope that we can find something that suits our needs, that is within our budget. And I'd hate to take on more students and then have to drop anything, like drop them for that reason. So yeah, it's a lot to think about, and I want to do it properly. I don't want to leave anybody out to dry because, you know, I can't handle a certain number of students, and I don't want anybody to feel cheated by signing up and then, you know, the classes being on hold or anything like that. I mean, for my Patreon, for the Patreon pledgers that I have, even the ones that, you know, just pledge for the $5 for the streamers, so the streamer pledge, you know, I always try to leave myself available for assistance. So I always tell them during the streams that, you know, if they have questions, they can always ask me. If they have specifics, they can email me, or even better, they can message me on Facebook. I try to do, I try my best to respond as quickly and as effectively as I can on my Facebook page. And that's to just about anybody that sends me a message. You know, obviously sometimes I get overwhelmed, but I do my best to respond in some way. Oh, thank you so much, Diane, for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you. That's gonna go straight to my new marker budget. You guys have been fantastic with the super chats this month, and I really look forward to doing a big art supply haul. I'm probably going to order a whole bunch of supplies as soon as I get back from America. I don't want to order them now because if they take like 3 weeks, then I'm not going to be here to get them or to answer the door. So I'll wait until I get back from America to to order supplies, and I look forward to getting them. I don't look forward to paying them, but I do look forward to getting them. I have a whole bunch of supplies on my wish list, and let's just say I'm going to be doing some reviews, and I'm going to be doing some comparisons, and I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff. Another project that I've talked about a few times this month is my oil painting project. I look forward to getting back to that after Inktober, and the video that I'm creating for it is going to be one of my new types of videos that maybe I'll try to do more of in the future or something like that. But it's taking a long time, so you know, you can only expect like 1 or 2 a year, but it's going to be a fun project, and I look forward to it all. The super chat is that little $ thing right next to the smiley face at the bottom of the chat.
It doesn't say super chat. It says that's blah 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 blah.
Okay, well, it's called super chat. I don't know what else to tell you.
Where do you know that?
I don't know. I'm not sure exactly.
Do you see this?
I see the dollar thingy, yeah.
Don't you see when you try to?
It says show your support. Yeah, it's a $. It's called super chat. I don't know why I know that.
That's suspicious.
It is kind of suspicious. I'm not sure.
This is why people are close. And that's all they're talking.
Is it cheaper or more expensive to rent in Poland? It is so cheap. Oh, look. Oh, calm down. I get it. Okay, yeah, well, I need to explain it.
Stop with it.
Yeah, okay.
Well, look at your sweet face.
Go back to doing you. Okay, so when it comes, the first thing that I have to say, the caveat to how inexpensive it is to live here, is the exchange rate. So I fortunately get paid, everything that I do, I get paid in dollars, US dollars. And for every dollar, it's about 4 zloty, the Polish currency. And that means without conversion, if you directly look at the amount, so if you ignore the currency, it's about the same price to live here as it is in America. For instance, you know, what do we pay for rent here? Like 11?
Or even more expensive.
It's a 1200, right? For our flat, it's like 1200. And that's pretty expensive in America. Like 1200. I mean, I was paying, when I lived in Seattle, I rented a room, literally a room smaller than my bedroom right now, and it was $800. Yeah, I think it was $750 actually. Like $750 for a room. It was in a shared house in the University District. So I mean, it was a really expensive part of Seattle. It wasn't like the most expensive part, obviously, but it was a relatively expensive part. And previous apartments were around $8,000-9,000 a month for renting. And it's similar like that if you're not looking at the actual name of the currency here in Poland. But the difference is, the reason it's cheap for me and it's just normal for my wife, since she lived here her whole life, is that you know, everybody gets paid in zloty here in Poland, and so they don't feel the cheapness the way that I do, because I get paid in dollars. So
Because it's not cheap.
I know it's not cheap.
Yeah, but you make it sound like it's cheap.
No, I don't make it sound like it's cheap.
You do.
No, I just explained why it's not cheap. That it's the same exact
You're
prices.
failing.
I'm not failing, you're just not listening, there's a difference.
You're like other people. You just convince people that it's super cheap. It's
No,
not
I'm
cheap
trying
at
to...
all, at all.
The words, it's not actually cheap, came out of my mouth already. Calm down. Quit interrupting.
Sure. It's not cheap, people. If you have that zloty, it's not cheap. I promise you. It's actually more expensive than in Germany. But everybody says nice about it. Besides, if I was to pay for our flat and this teeny tiny flat, what would I have left?
Nothing.
Exactly. Also, people wouldn't even be able to rent it.
Anyways, let's get off this topic. The amount, so to add to this conversation and then immediately move on from it, the amount of money that I make being an artist here in Poland is not enough for me to survive in the United States. I do not make enough to live in the United States. I would be completely broke. I would not be able to pay rent, and it's not a feasible option. So for me, my wife left the room. For me, it's cheap to live here, and I think it's cheap because it is cheap. It actually is cheap. It's just that their currency isn't worth anything. So yeah, that's why I like it here. It's cheap for me. It's cheap for me because I get paid in US dollar, and nobody else does. I mean, when I go to the movies, like when my wife and I go out for date night, it costs me like $20. That's dinner and a movie and dessert. My husband is not native English speaker. I feel like I live these sort of conversations where something is mixed up all the time. Oh my goodness, yes. I would like my wife and I, we've had, fights, I guess, if you want to call it that. I just call it an argument because we're mature enough. We're mature enough to recognize where the issue is, and this is actually something that we talked about like first week of our relationship, is that there is obviously a difference in our language and the way that we communicate, because I'm a native speaker and she is not, and that causes misunderstandings that can cause irritation. And that has happened plenty of times. And we try to quickly recognize when we are having a misunderstanding, and then we can move on from the argument or the issue. And we can get through it pretty quickly. But yeah, the difference in language does sometimes catch up to us a little bit, for sure. And we have those days. We have those troubles. Poland does not have euros. No. Germany has euros, but Poland does not. They want to, but it would be tough. It would be tough for them to do that, because I think it wouldn't be very beneficial to a lot of people. Because if you think about it, like for the exchange between zloty and euro, it's even worse than the exchange to the dollar. It's like 1 euro is like nearly 5 zloty. So if you reverse that calculation, that 1 to 5, say somebody has 20,000 zloty saved up, and then you convert that, then they only have like 4,000 euro. And you know, the number is significantly smaller, and it would feel like you lost a lot of money. And I don't know what, I'm not, I don't follow any Polish politics because they don't, I don't know of any reputable sources that translate well for English speakers, and it's not like I can participate. I'm not legally allowed to participate in any of Poland's political systems, so it's kind of irrelevant information to me, in the sense that I can't really participate with anything. So what benefit is there for me? But then again, I don't know. I know, right, Fluffy? The last few days of Inktober, I don't even understand how I managed to get here. Hello, Alex. I see you in the chat. We care. You've been a family member for a long time. Why are my chats counted? How did I get into a super chat? Am I supposed to pay you $5? Just confused. I'm not sure what you mean, Deborah. You do not have to pay me $5. You can donate $5 if you want. I'm not sure why your chats are counted. You would know if you're in super chat. Super chat is not like a thing that you're in. It's just the characters are counted. The characters are counted because you can't like write a book in the chat. So it's you have a certain character count that you have allotted to you per comment. Yes, in order to do the super chat, if you do want to donate, you just click on the $sign.
Poor Jeff, can't find
You know what, Jeff, I'm not 100% certain if you can do super chat on a mobile device. I don't quote me on that, but that might be the reason you can't find the $sign. Or maybe it's just so small on your iPad that it just looks like a gray square. It's a gray square next to the circle smiley face.
Oh, characters. I didn't get what characters mean.
Okay, you can super chat on your phone. Oh, you are a new $5 monthly Patreon for me. Oh, thank you, Deborah. I probably shouldn't have made this gift here blue. I just realized that it was probably a bad idea, because as you guys know, that Nugget is blue, and I probably shouldn't have put him on top of a blue present. Oh, thank you, Fluffy. I appreciate that. I'm glad you like my pile of presents. Goodness, it is getting warm. I am warm. Are you warm? Ah. I'm not worried. Why would I be worried? Huh? No, I'll survive.
Okay, so I think it's cider.
Yeah. Time to go. Lots of work awaits me tomorrow. Okay, Mache, thank you for stopping by. It was good to see you, and I hope that I see you at F&M next Friday. I'll be playing Grixis Control, just so you know. Be prepared. Yes. I know. I love you too. Good for, yes, good for me indeed. I am interested in what shading you will shade. Nugget is blue. Nugget is, he's two colors. He is 317 and 29. No, I think he's 317 and 304. Those are his colors. His feet are slightly lighter than he is. Oh, thank you so much, Lily, for the super chat donation. You're so great. You're so wonderful. Thank you. The marker fund is forever increasing, thanks to you.
What markers are you getting?
I am getting a set of Copics.
Copics? That's crazy.
Yeah, I know it's a little crazy.
How much will it be? How big will it set?
Well, I'm pretty sure Copics cost an arm and a leg, but thanks to the super chat, it might only cost me a leg.
Nuggets
like. My shopping cart right now is at like 1,500. Jackson's Art Supply.
So you don't do it on Amazon, but you do it on Jackson's.
I didn't save the shopping cart. I just I put it in there to see how painful it was going to be.
And what did you try to add there?
Things.
Copy someone.
Huh?
Copy someone.
Other
They even put copies in
markers and pastels.
What kind of books are you get? You have plenty of pastels.
I would get more pastels because I can't have enough.
Right?
Yeah, I want to try different brands.
What? What is one of them?
It just is, okay?
But I don't think there's that many brands of pastels that are worth it.
There is, believe it or not. How many brands?
of pastels you have already?
2.
Which is?
Rembrandt and Faber-Castell. And then I have the Carbothello pencils.
But you got the present.
Yes, that's Unison.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What else is worth it?
Well, Karen Dash makes pastel pencils.
Just pencils?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Well,
Kohanya, I don't know. I don't.
That you like questions.
I-
I'm asking you questions. Are you tired?
Yeah,
Why?
you're asking me questions, but nobody can hear you asking them. So it just looks like I'm having a conversation with somebody off screen, which is exactly
I
what
don't
I'm.
think so. Everybody can hear you properly.
No, they can't.
Right, people? You can hear me, right? My lovely voice.
I want Nugget magnet for my fridge. That would be cool. I would like to have a Nugget magnet. Robin, I am not kidding. For real, for real. $1,500 was what my cart was at, and I was not even close to what I wanted to order. When I saw it, I was like, ugh. I was like, I'm gonna have to start teaching English in Poland, which I refuse to do. I would make probably 3-4 times the amount of money if I taught English here in Poland, but it's just not gonna happen. It's not happening. Can't do it. Can't do it.
Really, pen pastels?
Oh, I do have pan pastels. Yeah, I do have pan
I mean,
pastels.
that's-
Yeah.
What are the ones that you got as a gift?
I got pan pastels and Unison pastels as a gift.
Like the circular.
Yeah, those are pan pastels.
I was thinking about them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would like to use
They were
them.
with the brushes and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why you don't like them?
It's not that I don't like them. When I do pastel, the thing is I just use them for pastel tutorials. I mean, I use my pastels mainly for pastel tutorials, and I always try to do my tutorials on somewhat of a budget so that the people watching them don't have to chop off one of their arms to pay for the supplies that I'm using. And pan pastels, though they're great, they are very expensive. And even if you buy $100 worth of pan pastels, you can't do anything with them. Like you can't do you can't do like detailed work with them. You need to have pencils. You need to have other supplies that. So most of my pastel tutorials are the budget-friendly version of supplies, so that you can get started for less than $100. You can buy.
See if you
Yeah.
are good at all
Yeah.
or interested at all.
Exactly.
Look at me.
Yeah. Look at you.
Like the kind of brushes that I got, huh?
Yeah.
But at least after cleaning, it started working. Oh, did your student say anything about it? Did he try it?
Yes.
Did it work?
All right, Debbie. Thank you for hanging out with us. We appreciate you, and hopefully I'll see you next time.
I see why you mentioned separate time enough. Pumpkin spice. Donated to
Oh, pumpkin spice! Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that.
You get so excited about it.
Of course I get
Like,
excited.
do it.
Of course I get excited.
You're always so excited. You see one sand and you.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I. It doesn't matter whether they give a dime or a dollar. It just.
I know. Calm down.
I just I want to express my appreciation and know that that it's genuine.
I know it is. Don't you worry.
Kohanye.
That's good.
I'm not talking to you.
Well, I'm talking to you. What's the problem? Want me to leave?
Alright, I got a few more presents here. Let's go with this color. What the heck? 528. Where's this color at on my color chart? Wow, did it really fade that much? This color looks completely different on my color chart than it is showing up right now, and it must have faded significantly over the past couple years. What other color would you guys like to see one of these presents being? When I get the Copic markers, would I do a demo stream? Oh, absolutely. That sounds like a fantastic idea. I would love to do that. Yes, definitely, definitely. I gotta do a demonstration. When I get the Copic markers, I'll probably even incorporate a few marker tutorials in my repertoire of videos, because you know, markers, they're a great medium. They're a great medium, and I really enjoy working with them for sure. And I think they're a little misunderstood. I do. I think they're just a tiny bit misunderstood, because there is so much more. Like, if you look at, there's this style of coloring with markers, this very like two-dimensional kind of cartoony, and then there's like the subtle blending and stuff that people do. But then you can do stuff like this with markers. Like I did these with, this is 100% markers. So there's certain degrees of like getting good at markers, and so there's certain techniques. Like this is probably the standard idea that people have about markers, kind of like filling in some spaces, doing a little bit of shading, nothing too extreme here, and then doing something like this. Like I can do this with markers, and then most people they think of doing things like this with markers, where they have just, you know, the colors laid down very two-dimensional, and they don't think that you can do something as three-dimensional as something like this. So I will most likely, when I get the Copic markers, I will of course be making, actually my first stream with the Copic markers most likely will be doing the color chart, because I always do a color chart, and I look forward so much to doing the color chart with those markers. It's gonna be so much fun. I love it. Cannot wait. Yellow. I will do yellow. Let me grab a yellow. A nice bright yellow. I'm gonna do this one here. Yellow with a purple polka dotted ribbon. I like purple and yellow. Complements. Color of Batman. Old school Batman, where they used to use purple to make it look blacker, darker. Forgive my ignorance. Are markers light fast? No, they are not. That is one severe downside to them. Now, normally light fastness, you know, people are talking about colored pencils or pastels or paint or something along those lines, but the light fastness of those mediums are far superior to something like markers, and that is one of the greatest downsides to markers, that the artwork truly does not last, and there's nothing you can do about it. They are a very unlight fast medium, unfortunately, but that doesn't take it away. They're still super fun to use, so even if they're not the most light fast, it's still worth it, in my opinion. Is there a way to correct coloring using markers? That's my problem. I make so many mistakes. That's another challenge with markers. Markers are just like ink. Cannot erase ink. And I think that's why markers and ink are two of my favorite mediums to use, because they're so unforgiving. I like the degree of risk you take experimenting with these mediums, because once you do it, it's there and there's no going back. Unfortunately, there is no way to fix it, and you just have to learn from your mistakes a lot faster. We have talked the subject of markers a lot in the past week. Topic always comes when I'm using these Pantone Tria markers. It's kind of funny. It definitely takes time. I'm slowly improving. My last Inktober piece was a three marker challenge. Oh yeah, 3 marker challenge. The infamous 3 marker challenge. I am quite familiar with with that challenge. I've never actually personally done the challenge though. It seems like fun. It does. It seems like fun, but I've never actually done it. Maybe once I have my Copic markers, I'll do a 3 marker challenge. I think it'd be fun to do an all marker challenge too. Have to use every single color. That doesn't seem as difficult as the 3 marker challenge, but okay, so off-topic question. I can assure you that there is no particular topic, so nothing is off-topic. Have I read the manga Vagabond? No, I have not. I actually haven't read manga in a number of years. A new manga shop actually just opened up right by Anna's work, and every time I walk by, I just want to walk in and see what they have, but I'm afraid to. I'm scared to death of walking in there, because I remember when I was really into manga when I was in high school, and I could not buy enough of it. I could not buy enough of them, and I was just, I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford it. And I still can't afford it. I'm either going to get markers or I'm going to get manga books, and I think I can do more with the markers. But I used to go to the local library and rent all the manga that they had there, and this was a long time ago, and they didn't have much of a collection, but the collection they did have, it was like somebody knew. It was like somebody knew what was good, and that's how I came across Initial D. Oh gosh, I would love to just buy all the whole set, everything that's out already of Initial D. That is one of my favorite mangas. So good. Story is so good. Another one that I really like, Samurai Champloo. It's another one that I really enjoy. Love the artwork. It's so fun. Just bought 77 Tria and Flex marker. Oh, cool. The old Tria markers, the ones that I have here, or the ones that are like the new ones that have the translucent barrel. You have more manga in your living room than books, yeah. I didn't quite get there with purchasing, but I definitely had like a couple $1,000 invested in my mangas. I really loved reading them. The worst part is that there's never enough. That's the worst part. When you get into it, oh my gosh, you just, when you reach the end of the series and you're waiting for the artist and author or both to finish the next volume, oh my goodness, it's painful sitting there waiting. And I'm one of those people that, like, I don't like reading the e-version of anything. I have to have the physical book in my hand. So like the thought of reading a manga digitally, just, I tried. I did. I tried to read like 2 or 3 mangas digitally, and it's just it tires my eyes. There's just something about having the physical book that makes the experience so much more tangible. It's like when I read the stuff, when I read anything off of a screen, it's just, it's so less intimate. And I don't know, I have to have the physical book. Just have to have the physical book. So I always run out of money before I can go on to the next. And I run out of space. That's another big issue, running out of space. Because once you spend, you know, a year's salary on the books, then you gotta spend more money on the shelves to put them on. And I'm not sure why I'm putting so much detail in this one particular present. Maybe this is a special present. This must be the present that Noodle got Nugget, since they're best friends. I don't know why Noodle would wrap it in pink paper though. That seems like an odd choice. Maybe it's an inside joke I don't know about. There we go. Now I can color the adorable little Nugget. Oh, they were 77 pounds. Okay. Bid on eBay. Okay. Actually pink originally was not the color of love. Pink was a masculine color, because when gladiators would fight and they would get blood on their shirt, their white shirts, and they would wash them, their shirts would turn pink from the blood. So it used to be that pink was actually a masculine color. So perhaps that's why Noodle gave him a pink present, because he knows that Nugget is a superhero, the savior of very many, leaving a trail of slimy justice behind him. Some of you will get that reference from last year's Inktober. There we go. And I think what I'll do is I'll just add a little drop shadow. Oh, you remember that. Alright, I'm going to finish off this drop shadow here, and that is going to be the end of today's prompt. So I want to thank you all again for coming by and hanging out with me on this Sunday. I hope that you enjoyed the stream as much as I did. Thanks again for all of you that did the super chat donations so that I can get my Copic markers sooner. I look forward to that, and all of you I have to thank. And even if you didn't do any super chat donations, I appreciate you guys as well. I can assure you that the time that you spend with me on the live streams, the conversations that we have, they mean a lot to me, and I really appreciate you guys spending your time. You know, whether you're spending your money or spending your time, I appreciate it all. I really do. You guys are great, and when I say that I have the best subscribers, I truly mean that. I don't know of a better group of subscribers, really. And if you're not already a member of the Unmasked family, I have the link for that in the description below. Also, there is a coloring competition going on right now that I am hosting, and I have a link for that in the description also. I've gotten a couple more entries. So the entries are going up, which I'm very excited to see. You guys are turning in some fantastic coloring pieces, and I even got a sculpture, full-on sculpture, which was really cool to see, very inspiring to see. So that's definitely a fun entry. Like I said, even though I call it a coloring competition, I opened it up to all the mediums. I did not care which way you took it. It was just just something that I could do so that I could give back to all of you in some way. And so the first place winner is going to get my original drawing along with $100 of art supplies, so maybe even their own little set of Copic markers if they so choose. Second and third place will get prints of my drawing along with a choice of any of my courses that I sell on my website. So again, thank you guys so much. You definitely brighten up my day every time I get to hang out with you guys, and I will be streaming again tomorrow, so you don't have to wait that long before you get to hang out again. And with that, hope you had a great weekend, and I will see you next time. Take care. Peace.